Hi guys, how you doing? A wee change of plan today. I was actually going to play a couple of pieces for you which I'd rehearsed pretty well, and then I completely ripped off my thumbnail, well, most of it, the important part. So that's that plan put to one side, and that's one of the downsides of being a fingerstyle guitarist, especially if you're playing without any picks whatsoever. My broken nail is not much fun. In emergencies, when this has happened to me before, there are kits you can buy, but I don't have one here just now, and I say they're only temporary anyhow. So what I thought we'd do, use this occasion again to talk a wee bit more about intervals and all sorts of things. Maybe a wee bit about grace notes, slurs, hammer-on, pull-offs. So we'll have a look at this and see how we go on with it. Where they really are good using these things, using intervals, is, as I said before, rather than just play a straight melody line, you can play a harmony against it. And especially if you're a solo guitarist, it really brings it out and it gives you something else to contribute. But it all comes down to this thing which I keep talking about, is knowing the guitar. And although it's not too bad with intervals, because there are patterns you can learn, and once you're on the root note you can work your way up the pattern. So the first interval I'm going to start with is a 6. I know we've done this before, but I'll try and go into a wee bit more detail, make it a wee bit more accessible. Why I like using 6s is because they basically sound nice. You know, if you're playing a tune and it's a reasonably melodic tune, harmonic tune, nothing weird or wacky about it, playing 6s will sound nice and it really build up your melody line. And it is what it says, as an interval of a 6. And the easiest way to get you started on it is, I play them all over the guitar, but let's just use the treble strings. So let's just take a D chord. Strings are beginning to go again. Okay, so you all know how to play a D chord, okay? So if you take your third finger away, the chord's actually a D6. Can you hear it with this broken nail? Anyway, so what we have there are just 2 notes. So what we've got there is an A and an F sharp. I'm going to swap my fingers about because it's easy to move about using your second and third finger. But as you can see, you could go on this straight away. It's just a D chord. Anyhow, I've just swapped my fingers round and I'm using my second and third. So this note here is an A, and then a 6 up from that is F sharp. Because remember, we're in the key of D, which is 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So anytime we hit C, it's got to be C sharp. Anytime we hit an F, it's got to be an F sharp. Although that'd be different if we were playing in a minor key. Maybe a wee bit of that later. And always remember, guys, play big chords, because we've got 6 strings, so we play 6 string chords. But a major chord is technically just 3 notes: do, mi, so, the first, the third, the fifth, and a major chord. And a minor chord is the first, flat, and the third, and the fifth. So when you say chord, as I say, we tend to go right, but it's basically just the 3 notes. So coming back to where we were, D chord. I've changed my fingers here, right? So there's the interval of a 6. Say the melody line was, so that was just a simple melody line. So we're going to play a 6 with that to give us a wee bit of harmony. So we'll start with this shape that I've showed you here, and that's automatically giving us an interval of a 6 here. Now the great thing about playing these intervals, there's a pattern, right? And once I show you this for the first time, you'll be able to get it once you try it yourself. So there's usually just 2 shapes. This shape here, where you can see I'm all in the same fret, I'm in second position, so that's easy enough to do. And there's the other shape, which is the second finger, the G string is up a semitone. So I've gone from here, and that is basically the shape you're always going to play in 6s, at least in the range where I play them. I'm doing it in D, but I'll show you me doing it in A in a minute. So we mentioned earlier on, say this was the melody line. So we go up, D bass as well. That's the second shape. So the point I'm trying to make here is you'll only ever be using the 2 shapes when you play 6s in this range. So you'll either be playing in parallel in the same fret, I'm using the third and the first string, or you'll be using the next shape. That's why I played second and third fingers. So when I slid up, my second finger went up and my first finger just fitted in there. So you've got this shape here. Second shape, the only difference is my second finger is up a semitone from the first shape. And I'll play a D bass for the strings. So after a while you'll be able to cut up the whole guitar. Find these out for yourselves. You'll know when you play the wrong one. Believe you me, the clangers stick right out. But it'll only ever be that shape in sixes, or that shape. So as we go up, then we're back at the octave, back at a D chord. Oh, I need those strings. Anyhow, let me show you that one more time, okay? D shape, okay? I changed my fingers, instead of first and second, I'll change them to second and third, okay? Which is going to help me when I slide, go up the guitar. So first position there, that's your first shape. The next time, as me playing an F sharp melody line, I told you, see the melody line was this. So, third finger on the melody line. Now the G, we're in the second shape. And the B, back to the first shape again. As I say, now that I've showed you this, you really can work this out yourself. Your ears will tell you what's right and what's wrong. Let me do it completely wrong. So say we started there. Now, we want to go. See, I went. Sounds cool, but we're really into G minor, and you know that's not right. We're looking for the major sound. So you can work these out just by using your ears. So that's the easy way to do it in D. Anytime you're in, say for example, in the key of D and you've got a melody line here. You can use sixes, okay? The other good thing while we're on the key of D, back to your D chord again. Say we're playing thirds, right? Which is another device you can use quite a lot. Same thing, there's only really the two patterns. So back to a D chord. And play the same melody line, only this time using thirds. But what all we'll do is take the first finger off and we're left with these two here, and then that's a third. We're actually going from a D to an F sharp, which is an interval of a third. So, and again, there are only two sort of patterns, two shapes that we follow. So same melody line. So you either have this shape, where you have let's say the second finger a fret above the first finger, or the next shape where the second finger is 2 frets above the first finger. And again you could go all the way up by just listening. Again, just listen to what's right and what's wrong. You know when you're hitting a clanker, when you're hitting a wrong note. So either just be that shape or that shape. And the only difference is, remember we're at a D chord here, just using the last two notes of the D chord, is in one of the shapes of the thirds, the second finger is a fret above the first. The next shape is 2 frets above the first. Another handy thing to remember while we're on here is you can learn so much the notes in the guitar just with this D shape. I've talked about this before. So that's a D chord, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. We use that all the time. Tone up, A. So all the time we're really just playing these chords, but we're only playing the last two notes, which gives us the interval of a third. Okay, so that's a good exercise just to do in a chord of D. Now A, now you see me playing in A quite a lot. The reason being that, again I've said about this before, most classical guitars and a lot of acoustic guitars are voiced in A. When the luthier's making them, he's tapping it and he's shaving off the top to tune it to 440. The guitar comes alive in A, right? Sometimes that can be a bit of a hard, sometimes the guitar runs away with you and you've got to pull it back like Mary Mary's. I'm having to pull the reins in that guitar, great guitar. But is usually if I have to work out a tune and I don't have any key restrictions. I mean, sometimes you'll be asked to play something in B flat, but if I'm working out a tune of my own, and if I haven't done it too many times, obviously you can't write and play every tune that you do in the same key. but A is definitely always my fallback key because I've got the 3 open strings, the A, D and the E, that I can play along with what I'm doing. Anyway, coming back to intervals. So there's a basic A chord, first position, okay? So let's now play a basic A 7th chord. So there's the 7th note, the G, but we're left with this pattern, the 2nd and 3rd. And again, that's an interval of a 6. We're going from an E to a C sharp, 3 sharps the key of A, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. And remember we talked about that earlier, there's the notes that we have to alter so we can come out with a major scale, a western scale. We have to alter the F, the C and the G, they become sharp. So anyway, there we've got a natural interval there of a 6. Okay, and again there's only 2 patterns to remember, just like we did in the D chord. Say the melody line, we use the exact same patterns, only we're using them on the 5th string and we're using them on the 2nd string. So we're coming, there's your first position, right? Next one, same thing, the 2nd finger is up a tone, up a semitone I should say, from the 1st shape. Again, it's really crucial that you start this using your 2nd and 3rd fingers. So I'm staggering the notes so you can hear them better, but you can also play them. And again, it's one of these things, now that I've showed you that, you can again work your way up the whole of the guitar again just by listening. Lisa. And it really adds to it, especially if you're playing solo guitar rather than just going. And adding the bass strings. I do that quite a lot. And again we're in A. Remember what I talked about earlier on in the D shape, so you can actually play the whole thing up here as well. All that's in A, just be using intervals of a 6. You go all the way right up here. Again, you can hear when you're making a mistake, it just doesn't sound right. And that of course is just the octave from up here. The other one is minors, again same thing. It's a flattened 3rd, but in a lot of the time the melody line, that's actually cheating because I'm an A minor, which as you know has got no sharps or flats. But as I say, you can do this in minor keys. Major and minor keys, and it's another way of playing melody lines. So it's a thing to have a look at, guys. Playing the intervals adds a lot more on, and you usually find actually that most of the intervals are part of the chord anyway. As I said, there was an A chord, there was an interval, there's a D chord, there's an interval, even a C chord, it was there, there's an interval, C to G. So if you're working on a tune and it's your turn to take the melody line, have a go at playing it in intervals, and it really works out well in slower tunes because then you can get a bit of vibrato into it. So I hope that helped a wee bit, guys, and hopefully with the next lesson my nail will have grown a wee bit more so I can get back into playing a lot more things for you. But that was me just working on intervals. There's a lot more in intervals, as I say, because I told you the other intervals I use quite a lot is fourths. Just a quick on fourths. So that was 6s. This was 3rds. 4ths, as I told you, is basically, I've done this before but might as well wrap it up with this. It's basically the last 2 strings, the B and the E string. Say for example, instead of going like this, which sounds nice, I tend to play in fourths, intervals of fourths, which is basically you're playing in parallel with the B and the E string. It gives it a nice texture, you know what I mean, and I use it quite a lot. I mean, start a joint would be good, I can't do it because my nails are broken. You've heard it before, that's fourths, you know. I'll also give that fourths again, but again I'll use them in a melody instead of going. Just a thing in a different texture. And the last one was 5ths. The only time I can ever recall playing fifths, and I don't play the tune I told just now, it was in Layla. You can see I haven't played that for ages, but fifths I'd used in Layla, Eric Clapton, so I don't use them. But that's a common ones, the sixths and the thirds, and you can play them in minor keys as well. And again, occasional fourth. Anyway, that's my excuse. So anyway, I hope that was just a wee bit of use to you guys, and we'll back to normal next week, because another thing I want to talk up a lot about is slurs, grace notes, hammer on, pulls off, triplets, which is really important, and it's not quite what you think it is. None of these is hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it, and be more than delighted to show you how I do these things. So I'll see you again next time, guys, and thanks for watching.